1972 comic about a woman disguised as a man at the French court didn't just sell millions. It changed Japan. The Rose of Versailles, known in Japan as Beru no Bara, was created by Riyoko Ikeda. It was serialized in Weekly Margaret from 1972 to 1973 and ran for 10 volumes. The story is complete. It has sold well over 20 million copies in Japan alone and triggered a nationwide craze known as the Berubera boom. Ikeda was inspired by Stefan Zweig's biography of Marie Antoinette. The manga became one of the most adapted works in Japanese history. A record-shattering Takarazuka stage musical in 1974, a live-action film by French director Jacques Demy, a beloved 1979 television anime, and most recently a 2025 feature film from Studio Mappa, streaming worldwide on Netflix. At the center of the story is Oscar François de Jarges, a noblewoman raised as a man by a father who wanted a son and heir. Trained as a soldier, Oscar becomes commander of the palace guard at Versailles and the personal protector of the young Austrian queen, Marie Antoinette. Around them swirls a glittering, doomed court, the queen's forbidden love for the Swedish Count Fersen, and Oscar's lifelong bond with André, the commoner who has loved her since childhood. As France slides toward revolution, Oscar is torn between duty to the crown and sympathy for a starving people. Ikeda braids real history with invented characters into a sweeping epic of love, identity, and political upheaval. Where Oscar's heart finally leads her is the question that has gripped readers for 50 years. Why is it a classic? Before The Rose of Versailles, girls' comics in Japan rarely attempted grand historical epics or political tragedy. Ikeda proved shoujo manga could carry the weight of revolution, philosophy, and death. The work is routinely called the Queen of Shoujo manga and credited as a foundational influence on the entire medium. Its most radical creation is Oscar herself, a heroine who lives outside the gender roles of her time, beloved by readers as both a dashing hero and a woman. For generations of Japanese readers, especially women, Oscar became a symbol of freedom and self-determination. The manga also helped codify the visual language of shoujo. Enormous sparkling eyes, cascading roses, and dramatic emotional close-ups. Ikeda's blend of meticulous historical research and operatic melodrama set a template that historical and romance manga still follow today, and it remains near the top of every list of the most important manga ever made. To grasp its impact, consider Japan in the early 1970s. The country was booming economically and a new generation of women was beginning to question traditional roles. A heroine like Oscar, strong, free, and refusing to be defined by her sex, landed like a thunderclap. The Berubera boom that followed was a genuine social phenomenon, spilling far beyond comics. Its biggest engine was the Takarazuka Revue, the famous all-female musical theater company, whose 1974 stage version broke attendance records and made Oscar one of the most iconic roles in Japanese theater. That connection is easy to miss from abroad. Takarazuka's tradition of women playing idealized male roles is the perfect cultural soil for a story about a woman in men's dress. There is also Japan's particular fascination with European history and aristocracy as a glamorous, romantic elsewhere, the same impulse that drew Ikeda to Versailles in the first place. These layers of theater and longing are woven into how Japanese readers experience the work. So where does an American reader plug in? The good news is that this is one of the most accessible classic manga for Western audiences, because it is built on history you may already know. If you have enjoyed lavish costume dramas like Bridgerton, Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette, or Les Miserables, you already speak this language. Court intrigue, doomed romance, and revolution. Oscar's story also resonates powerfully with modern conversations about gender and identity, part of why the manga has found an enthusiastic LGBTQ following abroad. The barriers are mild by classic manga standards. The art is unmistakably 1970s, lush and theatrical, and the melodrama runs hot. But the emotional stakes are clear and the history gives you a map. For many newcomers, this is the easiest door into the world of vintage shoujo manga. Half a century on, the work refuses to fade. Its influence runs through countless later manga that mix history, romance, and gender play, and Oscar remains one of the most recognizable characters in the medium. Riyoko Ikeda was honored by the French government with the Legion of Honor in 2009 for spreading French history and culture. And in 2025, a new Mappa film brought the story to a global audience on Netflix, introducing Oscar to a generation that was not born when the manga ended. To read it now is to discover the blueprint for the modern historical romance and a heroine who was decades ahead of her time. If you want to experience it on the page, an official English edition is available from Udon Entertainment. If you love the classics that became cultural earthquakes, follow along. We unpack a different landmark manga every week, and Oscar herself would want you to hit that subscribe button.